Yes, Bambi. That's awesome about Bambi. It takes place in a forest with the same kind of animals and things that you and I are used to. Deer, and skunks, and rabbits, and all kinds of beautiful things. And the other great thing about Bambi is nothing bad ever happens or sad happens in this movie, does it? Oh no! No, Bambi, no! There's a fire! No! A fire! Oh no! I can't watch. Tell me when it's over. Tell me when it's over. No, Bambi, no. Da 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 do 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 do. Da 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 do do. All right. Da 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 do do do. Hey now. Da 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 do do. Mr. Kovacs class. It's Mr. Kovacs class.
You might learn a ton.
It's Mr. Kovacs class.
He's interested too.
It's Mr. Kovacs class.
And he's super cool.
It's Mr. Kovacs class. Haha, the wonderful world of Disney. Ah, yes, the wonderful world of Disney. It truly is a world of Disney. If you think about Disney movies, the animated ones, they usually are set in actual locations, I mean most of the time, based on actual places, right? So like, like Snow White's a great example, set in the Black Forest of Central Europe, Robin Hood set in northern parts of England, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow set in the northeastern parts of the United States. Right, Bambi set in the northern parts. All of these movies, and of course Lion King set in the savannah of Africa. Lion King, Hakuna Matata. And so what I like about that is that, here's the Lion King. The Disney animators make beautiful set pieces, animated drawings that represent what we call the biome, or the place where those movies take place, right? And so this is the Lion King. It takes place in what's called the savannah. There's Pride Rock, but the savannah is like a grassland. We talked about that last week. Aladdin, on the other hand, is very different. Aladdin takes place in a place that is warmer, or as warm as savannah, but much drier. Okay? So Aladdin takes place in a place that gets so little precipitation that we would classify it as a desert. And it's hot year-round, so we'd classify it as a tropical desert. Whereas Frozen, let it go, takes place in a much different place, right? It definitely takes place in a forest. And these forests, right, have got these large coniferous trees, and it's definitely not hot all year round, but it's not cold year round. It's kind of like a cold forest. And then you got Bambi or Pocahontas, which takes place in a deciduous forest. This is probably what we're used to in terms of a forest. So, or the Jungle Book, which takes place in a tropical rainforest. There are even movies that take place on the prairie, right, or in the temperate rainforests. Disney is pretty good about coming up with scenes that represent actual places. So that's what we're going to study today. All right, so today in your part 2, you're going to do a couple things. First of all, we're going to figure out, what Disney princess are you? So I have a little link here to open up, and then you'll get a bunch of different questions. Which would you rather do on a hot
day? I'm just randomly picking, and there's 10 questions. When I get to the end of my 10th question,
it tells me I'm Nala. And it tells me where I like to live. The savannas of Africa are where you belong. You go, girl. So that's a Disney princess I am, Nala from The Lion King. All right, and then the second thing you need to do is there's a little form. We're going to submit that information to me. So it says, what Disney princess are you? And you type it in. And then you have to figure out which biome do I fit in best. And there's a little map here, and There's Nala, and I know that she's from the savannas of Africa, so I'll pick that, savanna grassland. And then using this chart, describe the climate. So I want to find Nala, she's in the savanna. And so this chart is kind of interesting. It's like a graph with two axes, but it's like a triangle, which is kind of weird. But like this axis here is decreasing temperature. So near the bottom is hot year round, and near the top is cold year round. And then this axis is the amount of moisture, right, which is wet and then dry. So like every place on earth is some combination of hot or cold or in between, or wet or dry or in between. We call in between, when it comes to precipitation, we call it moderate. Usually that means you get periods of wet, periods of dry. In order to have trees, you got to be wet year round, okay? And then in terms of temperature, hot we call tropical, cold we call Arctic or subarctic, and then think of the in-between as places where you get 4 seasons, pretty, right? Like places where it's tropical, you get 1, maybe 2 seasons. Maybe you get hot year round, and maybe you get a wet and dry season, right? And places where it's cold year round, again, you get like 2 seasons. You get really cold, and then you get, usually it's like the dark and the light season. But in the middle, like where Pocahontas or Snow White took place, that's 4 seasons: winter, spring, summer, and fall. So if I look at my biome chart here, here's Nala. She lives on savanna. Savanna is moderate, grassland, moderate in terms of precipitation, and hot. So I'm gonna pick moderate and hot. Okay, and then it says, if you were to go on vacation to the place where your princess is from, what things would you bring? Write your response, right? And so there's a place for you to write your answer. If I were gonna go on a vacation to the savannas, where Nala is from, I would bring, I'd want to be prepared for hot weather, but also moderate precipitation. Not totally dry, but not really wet. And so what would I want to bring? Okay, so that's what you're going to do on your part 2. Okay, and then your part 3, you're going to watch a little bit more about biomes. We can describe the different types of climax communities, different types of ecosystems that you find in these different places. Enjoy. Oh, Bambi. Oh, at the end, there's little Bambi. Oh, sweet. Oh, there's 2. And they all lived happily ever after.
The wonderful world of Disney.